Shannon Byrdsong here, Fit Realtor Mom, Atlanta's Realtor of Choice. Just wanted to share my testimonial with you to let you have a little more insight about my life. So over the last few years, a lot has changed. Got married, had a baby. Oh yes, life has been a fun roller coaster. So during that transition in my life, I did take some time away from real estate, although I was still working with sellers and buyers on occasion, just not as frequently. But I did go work for a builder-based company and had the privilege of working with some of the top builders and remodelers in Atlanta. It's time to step away from the corporate side and go back into real estate full-time. And I just want to share with you tips and suggestions and just my thoughts on going from owning your own business to working for a company and then getting back to what you love. All right, guys, quick tip number one, have a plan, have an exit strategy. So for me, I did look at what are my monthly expenses and basically how much in reserves or savings do I need to make that move. So for me, I decided to work as hard as I could and stack all of my bonuses and commissions and just mentally be ready. All right, tip number two, definitely take the time to talk with your family and close friends. Get their advice, see what they think, especially with your spouse, because you want their full-on support. And if they have unrealistic expectations that you're gonna leave your job and make $20,000 your first month, and that's not the reality, they need to be aware of that. So we don't want any surprises because we don't need the added stress. Tip number three, make sure that you talk with your job about any sales commissions that you may have coming up. I worked on a base salary plus commission, and once the pandemic hit, we had so many delays in shipment of product. I had a lot of jobs in the pipeline. I had intended to leave months prior, but jobs just kept getting delayed. As you know, builders were not able to get building supplies, windows, doors, which delayed my part of the job. And so I was able to negotiate with my manager prior to leaving on how do I work together with you to ensure that I am compensated for these jobs I've been working on for the last year. It's a lot of money I didn't want to leave on the table. So a lot of times people are pretty reasonable and just take the time to have those discussions, and you may be surprised what they say. And tip number four, start revving up your business. Start taking those classes and certifications you need just to ensure that once you're back in your business full-time, that you can hit the ground running. For me as a realtor, we do have to take 36 hours of continuing education every 4 years. So I wanted to make sure that my hours were up to date, that once I left my job, I could just start doing real estate and not worry about sitting in hours and hours of continuing education classes. Also, I started sending out flyers, I started making phone calls, and start drumming up business on the weekends, like I said, in my car, on my pump breaks, lunch breaks, and just started to get a read for the market, talking with other agents that were full-time and active in the industry. So do the same thing. Do your research, do your homework, make sure you're comfortable, and make that leap. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that some of these tips were helpful as you transition back into your own business. I'll be sure to include in the link below a link to my real estate blog, also a link to the PDF with these tips. So if you want to print those out and just veg on it, I'll definitely have that link available for you. Well, stay tuned as I rev up my business and I go full steam ahead back into real estate. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.